Hey guys, Spike here from Fit for the Mix, and in this course I would like to explain to you how is compression working. And before we start to explain the compression, we have to know some basic things about audio signal, and let's look at this by the hit of the snare drum. This is one single head of snare drum. The short and the loudest part on the beginning of audio signal is transient. Transient has very important role and influence on loudness and on energy of audio signal. And if we are talking about attack, then we are talking about beginning of transient. The next part of our snare is sustain. And if you're missing some volume in your snare sound, sustain will be your best friend. The part which fades out and goes closer and closer to our reference of silence is release. And in the end, the noise floor. Let's take a look at audio signal of bass guitar. This is our noise floor. It is the softest part which describes the reference noise and should be a reference to silence. The space between softest and loudest part of audio signal is our dynamic range. Remember, the higher is the noise floor, the less is dynamic range we have. And now the function of compressor is very easy to explain. The compressor reduces a dynamic range of audio signal. How it works exactly, let's check it with our bass track. I have chosen this compressor only because of graphical user interface, and as soon as I change some parameters, you will see what's going on. Let's talk about these two parameters, threshold and ratio. Threshold defines from which point the compressor will start to work, and ratio defines how many dynamic range of compressed audio signal which goes above adjust threshold will be reduced. Let's see what happened when I change these two parameters on the bass track. So I choose minus 24 dB and ratio 6:1 just to try to catch up some more bass body. And how the compressor works, you can already hear it, and currently we got gain reduction about 8 to 9 dB, and if you play it again, this gain reduction you can read it here in this display. So let's move to the next two very important parameter, and this is attack and release. Attack is a parameter where you can set how long it takes to respond to audio signal that exceeds the threshold which we defined with our threshold parameter. And when the audio signal passes the compressor, volume turns down. This volume has to go back up again to catch the next transient. The time which compressor needs to come back to the compression detection level is called release. And interaction between attack and release is the best tool to shape your sound with compressor. So this bass was played with a plectrum, and I would like to set a pretty short attack time here. Let's try about 2 milliseconds. And to catch other transients too, I will not set release time too long. Go something about 450. Yeah, that sounds good for me. So we come to our next parameter, make up. In this case, it's named gain, but is the same function. With makeup parameter, we are allowed to compensate reduction of volume, which is a direct impact of compression of audio signal. how many volumes we lost. We have seen this on our gain reduction display. We lost 9 dB, something like 9 dB. And this 9 dB we can get back with a makeup parameter by making it louder by 9 dB. And in direct hearing comparison, you hear that our bass now sounds bigger and sounds much better in my opinion. And if you compare the waveforms, you can see this too. The turquoise waveform is our DI bass and uncompressed, and the purple waveform shows the same waveform after compression. The dynamic range has been significantly reduced, and this bass sound can be much better integrated, as in this case in the metal mix. So let's compare them once again. Is compressed sound and uncompressed. Another parameter I would like to address is knee. With the parameter knee, you are able to set how the transition signal will look like. Hard, like in this case, or soft, like in this case. Same as with this compressor, there are many compressors where you can fine-tune the knee parameter, but for explanation we will only cover hard and soft case. With the hard knee compressor start to work exactly at a point where the threshold is set. With a soft knee, let's say something like that, compressors start to work before threshold point and slightly increases the ratio. With a soft knee, we give the transient some more air for breath, and the compressor sounds more natural. Let's just see it how it sounds with our bass track. After setting your compressor, you can just play with a knee parameter to make some fine-tuning and to get a better feeling for it. Just try it. Well, that was our short tutorial and how a compressor works, and if you like, you can write to me in the comments below for which instruments you use which compressor, or just if you have any question, feel free. Thank you for watching, guys, and if you don't want to miss our upcoming courses, just subscribe our channel. Take care and see you soon.